Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Rick. I do hope you're having a great day. Right, today we're doing a video back in this studio. Always wanted to say that. Back to the studio. Right, I'm just doing another little, whoops, kick the camera. I'm just doing another little test. Hopefully that there's enough light in here that you can see this. It might be a bit grainy, but we'll worry about that later. But I'm just trying out these lights now. A couple more have arrived and they're now all on these little upright stands. And I've just realised all of these, apart from that one there, have got these diffuser covers on them. So if they're for any reason not bright enough, I can actually make them brighter by taking the diffuser off. But they've all got the diffusers on at the moment. And I'm just, like I say, I'm experimenting with different ideas. I'm really getting the old creative spark going in regard to, you know, how this is all going to be utilised and how it's going to be worked. And I've properly settled down now on the idea of making this a chop and change set. So what I'm thinking of, actually, let's get some lights on. So I'm just brainstorming more ideas, trying to figure out what it is I need to bring up here. What I don't want to do is bring up loads and loads of stuff and it not be used. So I want to only fill and populate this room with the necessary gear. And I've settled on the idea that for each podcast that I do, I can have a different set if I want. I want a completely dynamic set. So say, for example, I bring up a chair or maybe two chairs, a fireplace. I'm thinking of bringing my fireplace from downstairs up here, and then I can slide the fireplace in as and when it's needed. But then if I'm, say, doing an interview and we don't need the fireplace, I'll slide that out of shot and bring in like an extra chair. I've also got a plant which has just arrived this morning. This is the Kentia palm. And again, that can play a part, you know, it could be on the other side of the fireplace or something. But yeah, I want to keep this a dynamic space. So I've got all sorts of options on the setup. I do keep thinking about a table, but I haven't settled on that. I'm actually thinking in terms of maybe a round table. But what I need is a table that I can sit at, maybe put a laptop on. So if I want to control any of the equipment or the you know, the recording and everything, if I'm sort of doing it on my own, I need that sort of thing to have access to. Bought the spare TV in as well. I keep thinking about that on a stand where I can just, I mean, the stand makes the TV sort of this height. Although I've seen an adjustable height stand, which would be better. And then again, like the fireplace, you could, you know, slide in the TV if you want some sort of a background or some sort of imagery going on. Although that, thinking about that, unless it's a fixed image, like, you know, a logo, you might struggle, especially if you're doing a solo podcast, I might struggle to change the imagery on the screen unless it's reflecting on a laptop. If I've got a laptop on the desk in front of me and I can control it, that would work, assuming I ever need to have visuals in a podcast, you know, as in on the screen. But yeah, very, very happy with this arrangement. I had to swap out the little unit that I had there before. Before it was a bank of USB sockets and 3 power sockets, but they couldn't all handle the current. It just wasn't powerful enough to recharge these lights while they were all on, but that one does seem to be coping okay. So just little things you got to learn along the way. I also, I've just got that odd one, which is, it just runs off a little battery bank, and that can be useful for various functions. But I'm also thinking if I had a fireplace up here, there's only really 2 places it would be able to go, and that would be either sort of in front of these 2 columns or in front of those 2 columns to keep it central, and then you can have, you know, like a plant to the side of it or something. I don't think it would work any other way. If I, say, like pushed it up into the corner, it just wouldn't look right. But yeah, across in front of the 2 columns or the 2 columns, I think that would work. And then obviously it would, at a later date, if I get a camera that will give me a good shallow depth of field, I might even be able to do it on the iPhone actually, and it would look quite nice, sort of just slightly blurred into the background. But don't know. Anyway, lots to think about. But what I'm going to be doing today, well, what I've got to do first of all, before I do anything else, is I've got to clear up my living room, because it is absolutely chock-a-block full of cardboard. So I've got to chop that all up for the recycling, which comes in a couple of days. The new microphone is here. I decided I was going to go for a proper microphone, which is a dynamic microphone. I normally do my voiceovers on a cardioid, but the podcast mics, these are like broadcast mics, they're just a whole lot better for doing podcasting. This is actually called the Pod Mic. It's by Rode, and it's like an entry-level podcasting microphone. If I really get into it, then I'll end up with one of the Shure, was it the SMB7B or whatever it is. That's the gold standard that everybody has, but it's like twice as expensive as this one. So I thought I'll give it a go with this cheaper one, but this has got really good ratings, so we'll run with that. And we got ourselves a little podcast arm as well. So that means it's got a pop screen as well, but I'm not going to be using that. This has got a built-in pop screen. And of course the XLR cables. So I've already got a recording device, so we're pretty much ready to go. But the plan is that fireplace upstairs. So basically this TV is going to go on top of this TV cabinet, because that's essentially what it's designed for. But because I've got the sound bar, if I just put the soundbar in front of the TV on that surface, the soundbar will actually encroach onto the screen. It'll actually be higher than the bottom of the screen. So I bought these little devices, which I've put somewhere. Oh, they're over here. So I bought these, and these are little furniture heighteners. They're little steel cubes, and what you can do, I've got 4 of them, so I can prop up the TV. I'm literally going to stand the TV up on them, so one on each end of each leg, and that should raise the TV up just enough so that I can get the soundbar in front of it without any issues. And in that way, all I'll have on this wall is a TV and that thing, and then that fireplace can go upstairs, because I tend not to use it that much. I mean, it's useful because obviously it's got my TV on it, and obviously I'm going to have to get used to the TV being further down. It's going to be about a foot lower, but I think I'll be all right with that. Obviously we'll find out. I mean, I could hang it on the wall, but I'm not a fan of hanging TVs on the wall. They are incredibly heavy, and it leaves horrendous scarring on your wall if you ever change your mind. So, you know, if I want to change the room around or whatever, I've still got my options open. But as soon as that TV is bolted there, your options suddenly shut off, unless you want to do an awful lot of DIY as well. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to get on with. So I'm going to chop all those up and get some things set up, and I'll be back. Starting to get dark already. Let's get some lights on. Right, so I've now narrowed this down even further. So the little fireplace is now upstairs. That was fun, getting that up the stairs. I had to sort of semi-dismantle it. But I couldn't believe the amount of wires and things that I pulled out from the back of there. There was so much going on, but it's all a little bit more organised now, although it's still a little bit wiry. But these little lifty up things work perfectly, and when I sit down to watch the TV, the bottom of the TV is above the sound bar, so that worked really well. So I think they were called furniture extenders or something. Now the foam for upstairs has arrived, and that has expanded beautifully. That was all flat packed as well, so I just spread it around and just kind of lay it down everywhere, and then within a couple of hours, look, that's fully expanded. So that's good, and I'm going to be putting that up tomorrow. I'm a bit tired tonight, so I will carry on tomorrow, and that's just for that one blank wall, which I'll show you again in a minute. But yeah, these have all inflated. I just threw them down just to sort of spread them out, and they've all, looks like they've all inflated, so I'm very pleased about that. Now, going back to the other ones where I was trying to inflate, I've picked out a dozen that just didn't quite do the job. Even after 2 days sat in the bath, these things still did not quite expand, and these were a hopeless case. So I've actually got a dozen here. I'm still waiting for them to dry out, but I will send these back because they just were not up to scratch. So I literally got a dozen, and just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes. So there's a dozen there. So I'll get my money back on those ones at least. So out of the 120, there was a dozen that didn't make it. But I'm actually quite pleased with that. That looks really quite neat. And it's just, I don't know, my living room, obviously with these black things, they're not helping, but that's quite a nice, neat little arrangement. I think I'm going to get on just fine with the TV being much lower. It was literally about a foot lower than it was. And I think that's going to be fine. In fact, I think I prefer that. Nice. But anyway, I've been having a little bit of an experiment up here with a little bit of a set layout, just like an experimental set layout. And it all looks rather nice. I've got the little fireplace running, and I even got the camera and did a little bit of a test. And also I've got the microphone set up. Sounds beautiful in the headphones. I've actually got I've done a little test recording, which I'll play at the end of this video, and I sign off with this test recording. But I've got the key light as well now, so let's turn that on. And that's a key light, which is a fully adjustable, and it goes really bright or really quite dim. And then I had a fill light here as well, which, once again, this is battery operated. I'll get another one at some point that's mains operated. But now I've set this up, I'm not sure I like this particular setup. I think in the video I just made, I made a bit of a reference to a certain movie from the 80s. I just don't like the idea of being kind of this exposed to the camera. Not for a podcast. I think I'd be much more comfortable with a desk in front of me. Anyway, I'll tell you about all that in the little recording which I've just done on the Rode pod mic, and it sounds amazing. I was really quite pleased with that. So I'm going to hand you over to the little recording that I did earlier, and that will sign off the video. And then tomorrow I'm going to carry on. I'm going to get more of this stuff up on this wall just to get rid of that last little bit of echo. And I forgot to pull the curtains as well when I did the recording. But yeah, I think I'm going to have another rethink on set design. I'm not necessarily won over with this particular set design, mainly because the camera is pointing straight at me, like that way. And maybe if I was, I don't know, maybe if the camera was side on or something, it wouldn't be so bad. But I don't know. If you got any thoughts or any ideas or like a set design that might work a little bit better for a podcast, do feel free to let me know. But I do think there might be a table in my future. Anyway, here comes that other bit of footage. All right, scene one, take one. Okay, so this is a little test recording of my little setup I've got going on here. The mic sounds pretty rich in my headphones. Not sure how it's sounding to you. Hopefully also the autofocus is working, although I forgot to put on my key light. So let me do that now. So I've got a light here. All right, so I've got a fill light there and my main key light there. And I'm going to just experiment. I can actually turn the brightness of the key light up. I don't know, it should give a better quality to the video. But I have to say, as a test roll, this sounds great in the headphones, by the way. I'm really pleased with this mic. But this particular setup, this position, I'm not sure if I like it. I was looking at the idea of doing sort of little chat by the fireplace type podcasts, and this would be the setting. But I feel like I want a table in front of me. This position where it's just me and the camera, I'm literally straight in line with the camera there. It all feels a little bit, how can I put this? Let's just say a certain movie sprang to mind starring Sharon Stone when I saw this, and I'm really warming up now to the idea of actually having like a almost not quite a dining room table, but a rectangular table on which I can sit at, maybe have a laptop with me, and I can actually put some notes and things in front of me, because also I've got nothing here that I can work with. As a podcast, you quite often need to sort of read your bullet points or whatever, and it's difficult to do in this particular chair. So I don't know, I may warm up to this idea, but this was one of the set ideas that I had, was with a little fireplace going, a little bit of ambient lighting in the background. I'm gonna have to work out what level of brightness the key light works best. I mean, it can go very, very bright, but that's a little too much. Although I think the little camcorder's on auto everything, so it shouldn't make a huge difference. I don't know. But I don't know whether the auto focus is going to be hunting as well. So there's all these little nuanced things you've got to mess about with. But yeah, I'm not convinced this is the right sort of setup, but I might change my mind when I see it on the bigger screen. But if you've got any thoughts on potential setups, like I say, I may not even use the fireplace, it's just an idea. But if I had like just a longer, like a rectangular table coming out from that wall, little neon sign up on the wall or something, I don't know. I'd be interested to get your feedback on this. But this mic sounds great. It certainly does in my ears anyway. And also earphones as well. I'm not sure whether I should wear them or not. Let me try them without. The problem is when I haven't got the earphones on, I have no idea what I sound like. So although obviously if the mic is, they say the mic should be about a fist distance in front of your face. So, which is about this, but you should get a nice rich voice sound, a rich vocal sound. And this is just recording raw. Whether I do anything in post-production or not, I'll see. But anyway, I think that is going to be it for this video. No doubt there will be more experimenting and playing around and brainstorming other ideas. But that's it for this one. I'm absolutely exhausted now. I'm very, very mentally drained now. This whole process has really, really drained that, that mental clarity. So I'm going to need a little bit of recovery time. But no doubt lots of cool ideas will be flowing, and hopefully we can get some little podcasts cobbled together and have fun with that. But that is it from me. So thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.